the scenario 1, use payment voucher. So at the payment voucher, you can look up for tax entity on the cash book entry. Okay, after you fill in the customer name, and then you look up for the tax entity, and then after fill in the amount and payment, and then you can right click and copy to new self-bill, okay, to generate a self-bill invoice. Okay, so let us see the illustration 17, which is the business tenant have to issue self-bill e-invoice on rental and utility bills if landlord does not conduct business. So let's say the landlord, Tina, is an individual, so she does not conduct business. So she ran the shop lot to Kedai Electronic Smart Gadget. So she does not require to issue e-invoice to Smart Gadget, but Smart Gadget need to create and submit self-bill e-invoice for the rental and utility expenses. Okay, so the rent will be under code 036 for self-bill others, and utilities will, the classification code is 036 self-bill others. So let us see the sample. You go to GL and then cash book entry. Here I already created rental and utility. Okay, for this rental and utility, I choose my supplier and then I select the team. Okay, here you can select the team for this supplier, and then description I put rental and utilities, and then payment method, payment amount, and then here I put two lists, which is the first one is for rental, second one is for utility. Okay, and then after that, I right click and then copy to new self-bill. Okay, and then when you go to your self-bill, here it already created the rental. So when you view, as you can see, after I copied to new self-bill, I put the classification code is 036 and 036, okay, which is for self-bill others, okay? And then you need to send this self-bill to your supplier, okay? So here is the self-bill with LSTM validated link, okay? So another example is tenant needs to issue self-bill e-invoice for rental with multiple landlords. Okay, let's say there are 3 landlords rent an office space, okay, from 3 brothers, Haikal, Alif, and Arif. So, but these 3 individuals does not conduct any business. Okay, so as a company, Best Mesra, I need to issue self-bill invoice for these 3 individuals. Okay, so each of them I need to issue rental, and then I put the classification code as 036 self-bill others. Okay. So another example is Malaysian buyers are required to issue self-bill invoice for service acquired from foreign seller. So let's say Food Aid Sdn Bhd hires legal advisor ABC Advisory Ltd from UK for legal service. Okay, and then ABC issued invoice to Food Aid Malaysian buyer for service rendered. So ABC advisor not required to issue invoice, but Food Aid is required to issue self-bill invoice. Okay, so let's say this one is for my foreign seller. So I go to purchase invoice. Foreign but seller. USD supplier. And this one I buy for service. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then I right click, copy to new self-bill. Okay, and then the supplier, I need to choose foreign seller. Yes, the supplier. Okay, and then document type is self-bill invoice. The classification code is, I need to put 035. Let's say this one is service. So I put 035. 035 is self-bill importation of services. Okay, and then I click approve. Then for this self-bill, I need to go to invoice self-bill. Okay. This one is invalid. Supplier team is invalid. Okay. So you need to make sure that the TIN number is correct. So you can see the example for this one is valid one. So for this supplier, you just leave it blank. Okay, leave it blank. So system will autofill EI9030 for foreign supplier. Okay, and then you can submit the self-bill e-invoice for this supplier to prove as your expenses. Okay. And then make sure that the self-billing e-invoice importation of service to issue the self-bill, it is issued by the end of the month following the month upon. Okay, let's say you make the payment first at 29th of June. So you required to issue the self-bill at the end of July. Okay, the next month of June. But if you receive the receipt first, on the 1st of July, after that only you make payment. So you need to follow the invoice date, which is 1st July. So the following month, at the end of August, you required to issue the self-bill e-invoice. Okay.